All right, so we are recording. Okay, so today, thanks again to Julie for sending us our beautiful notes. I always type up like right before we meet, but it gets me ready. It gets me ready. So we're talking about the power of visualization. This is a good one. I mean, you know, because like, again, we're talking about all these things we know, but I just love how it's really fleshed out and it just helps me think about putting it into practice so much better by the way it's so fleshed out, you know? So this is the V in S.A.V.E.R.S for visualization. So creative visualization or mental rehearsal refers to the practice of seeking to generate positive results in your outer world by using your imagination. Create mental pictures of specific behaviors and outcomes occurring in your life. So frequently used by athletes to enhance their performance. Does anybody have anything to say about any does that spark any thoughts for anybody so far? Especially this used by athletes to enhance their performance. No? No, yes? Maybe so? Okay.
Well, it's definitely true. I mean, I took martial arts for years, and that was a big part of it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys, you know, the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr., you know, and Jude Law. Yeah, where he's like before, like when he's about to interact in you know, in a fight with somebody, he sees everything ahead of time and then does it, you know. That sort of reminded me of when you were talking about that in martial arts, Gabby. I didn't realize that. So
they say that Tiger Woods, he envisions him, you know, every hole that when he golfs.
Yeah, I've heard that too. So most people are limited by visions of their past, replaying previous failures or heartbreaks. Sometimes we visualize the future, but too often it's through a lens of fear or worry, thinking about what we might lose if we fail. But first we see it, then we believe it, and then we create it, is what we're supposed to be doing. So as with affirmations, visualization the traditional way is flawed. Most experts have taught us to visualize the end result, and then that was it. But there are two parts of the Miracle Morning visualization. First, we're going to be focused on the long-term, big picture by visualizing our most important goal or dream. And then second, we'll visualize ourselves doing these activities. And that's the most important thing, doing the actual activities that we need to do today to ensure your long-term vision becomes a reality. So that's maybe the missing piece. So to talk about this, seeing is believing, we're going to first talk about long-term visualization. Hi, Adam.
Hey, Adam.
Hello.
Hello.
So long-term visualization. So the experts have the first part correct. Visualize your ideal end results. What do you really want that's important and meaningful for you? Visualize yourself walking through your dream home if that is your goal. Feel it and imagine what it would look like every room. Oops. This long-term visualization, this long-term visualization increases both your desire to make your vision a reality as well as the belief that you can. So that's the first part of why this is important, is when we're visualizing, it helps increase the desire and increase our belief. Does anybody have anything to say about that we're going to keep delving into this. So, but anything spark anything for anybody yet? Okay. So then the next part is short-term visualization. It's far too easy to imagine this ideal life and feel good about it and then go back to doing the same things we've always done and get the same results. After you visualize what you want, now you're going to visualize yourself taking the necessary actions today. Do it with a smile, courage, and laser-like focus on your highest priorities. This is where visualization supports you in taking necessary actions to produce desired results. So here's a thought. Visualize yourself living in alignment with your affirmations. So last time we talked all about affirmations and the process of creating the right kind of affirmation and practicing it and doing it. So now with the visualization step, we're actually envisioning and visualizing ourselves living in alignment with those affirmations. So this is where we're delving into it. All right, so 3 simple steps to effective visualization. The first step's super easy. We just have to sit up in a comfortable position, take a deep breath, close our eyes, and get ready to visualize. So the first thing that comes to mind, though, is, taking the time to do this. It seems maybe initially like unnecessary, but as we're talking about this, I see how necessary it is for me. So, all right, so step 2, this is where we're visualizing what we really want. This is interesting. Many people don't feel comfortable visualizing success, and are even scared to succeed. Some people may experience resistance. Some feel guilty that they will leave the other 95% behind when they become successful as the 5%. Does anybody feel that way? Or can you relate to that? Maybe?
I think my biggest thing is I'm really good at dreaming. I'm really good at thinking. It's putting the putting the effort in, and once I put the effort in, maintaining consistency to achieve things. That's my biggest struggle.
Right.
I can think, hey, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm a rock star for 5 days, but that 6th day something happens, and I use that as an excuse to put in less effort, and I'm right back to square one. All the time, that is my life.
I think we can relate, Adam. Absolutely. You're not alone with that. Don't think you're special.
Well, I'm special. I'm just special in different ways.
Just kidding.
So we're continuing with this idea. So that was good, Adam, because at least, being aware of it is a primary thing we have to do to be able to cross that bridge. So Marianne Williamson, in her book A Return to Love, and she's running for president, by the way. Here's her quote from her book A Return to Love. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Does anybody have anything they want to say about that?
I think you're good at that, Sylvia.
What?
That quote reminds me of you.
It does?
Yes, you light up a lot. You light up a room every time you walk in. Yes.
It's the sweetest thing. Mwah, 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 mwah. Well, I do think I'm like Adam. I think I'm special. Oh God. Anyway, you know, this is interesting though. You know, like, you know, kind of brings, because I still, you know, every day I still listen to Grant Cardone. And right now I'm listening to his If You're Not First, You're Last audiobook. But he, you know, his, and I got his, and I decided to get the, you know, when we're talking about like time blocking and stuff like that. And we were talking about that book, Best Self, or the journal Best Self. That was so complicated for me. I'm like, there's a lot. That's going to be like a huge project. So I decided, I looked into Grant Cardone's journal. It's super simple, you know? And so, but his, in the journal, like there's this watermark and it says, "Success is my duty." You know, because that's Grant Cardone. It's like you're obligated. It's your responsibility to be successful. Oops. And so anyway, it's like that's, so when she's saying, you know, who are you not to be your best self, you know? So anyway, you know, it just reminds me like, yes, who am I not to be my best self and do my best and be my best and, you know, go all out, live my fullest potential, because it's my duty, it's my obligation, you know.
Remember in 10X rule, it, you know, it's your obligation. You know, you're basically not taking care of your family if you're not putting out your full, you know, effort.
Right. Well, it's like you've been given these gifts, so live it, you know. And yeah,
I think like one of the biggest things too with that is like the struggle with change. Like we dream about, okay, like we want this kind of lifestyle, we want this kind of you know, material stuff, whatever, and like that is the change. Like we want those things because we don't have them, so that's a change from the present. Well, in order to get that change actualized, the actions have to follow to achieve that. And I think like that's, like I said, that's kind of like where I am, is like, yeah, I want a bunch of cool stuff and have a good life, which, I mean, my life is pretty good, but not as good as what I want. And it's those actionable steps. And it can be very daunting to realize what exactly it's going to take. You know, as still a newer agent, it's kind of like, okay, well, I want to make this much money, and then I need to do this many transactions in a year, which means I got to talk to this many people. It's like, oh my goodness, I have to be in people. I have to be in people mode that many times a week. Like, I don't know if I can handle that. And it's just easier to just watch. It's easier to just go on YouTube or whatever and watch people be successful than try and be successful myself. But
I mean, I totally hear you. It's, you know, the effort, you know, but you know what you hear, and this is true, it takes just as much effort to fail as it does to succeed, right? You know,
I think it's pretty easy to fail though.
No, because then what happens, that same effort that we could have used to force ourselves to, you know, go out there, go do and be, you know, instead, you know, kind of shrinking back and, you know, and then beating ourselves up about it,
Mm-hmm.
You know, struggling with it, wrestling with it. Like that takes just as much, you know, like, you know, it takes just as much effort than just going and doing it.
Right.
You know, so to continue this talk, the greatest gift we can give to those we love is to live to our full potential. So what does that look like for you? What do you really want? Visualize your major goals, deepest desires, and dreams. See, feel, hear, touch, taste, and smell. Involve all your senses to maximize the effectiveness of your visualization. See yourself accomplishing what you set out to accomplish. So, this is kind of the part where, you know, we're taking this time to write these goals down, say these affirmations, you know, silence our mind and clear our mind, and then visualize who we need to be and what we need to do to do these things. So once we've created a clear mental picture of what we want, then we need to begin to visualize ourselves living in total alignment with the person we need to be to achieve our vision. See yourself engaged in the positive actions you need to do each day. So this is the part, Adam, where we sit and we now we know what we want and the kind of lifestyle we want and, you know, the achievements we want to achieve. But now we need to take the same amount of time and visualize ourselves doing these activities that will get us to that goal. So exercising, you know, I called Julie earlier this week and I'm like, Julie, I'm not doing the exercising. I'm not doing it. I want to, but I'm not. And so we just had a chat about it. And
but if you sit on the couch and do like leg raises and stuff like that, that's exercise technically. I've learned that.
It is. Yes. But the thing, for what I want to achieve, that's, you know, gonna just keep me walking for the rest of my life. It's not going to make me the badass I actually want to be. So anyway, seeing yourself doing the work, actually doing the studying, writing if you want to write a book, making the calls if you need to make those connections, if you need to set the appointments, sending the emails, writing the note cards, or whatever it is for you that is going to help you get to that next level, to achieve those things in alignment with those affirmations that we talked about. So, in addition to your affirmations every morning, doing this simple visualization process daily will turbocharge the programming of your subconscious mind for success. You will begin to live in alignment with your ideal vision and make it a reality. When you visualize, you want to stir up emotions that lift your spirits and pull you towards your vision. So practicing, so this is what we've talked about so far in this mastermind. We talked about practicing silence. We talked about affirmations. And today we talked about visualization. By doing these three things, we are conditioning our mind for success. You will quickly become the level 10 person that you need to be to create a level 10 life. Just by implementing these three practices, even if we don't 100% believe it, you will be amazed at what happens. By putting into play these first 50% of the lifesavers, so S, A, and B, you will already see significant and pleasant changes. So that's all our notes for today. So what I think we should do now, before we could end a little early, but what I think we should do now is talk about this second part of visualizing what we want. So, and I'll just start with, I mean, guys, I'm still working on, I've written a lot of the affirmations in the way that, that we talked about so far. And so what I want to talk about is kind of bridging this gap to aligning ourselves with what our affirmations are to doing the things to get there and visualizing it. So I'm gonna see if I can. So here's, this is me. This goes with what I was talking to Julie about. So I wrote this, but I'm kind of working on it. I'm working on it. So this is, I'm committed to lose 40 pounds, no matter what, so that I can. And so I wrote it this way, and I wrote, the different reasons so that I can feel healthier, more energized, improve longevity, agility. It's so funny. I'm vegan, and I just went to the doctor, and like my cholesterol and blood pressure and all my numbers, they're just beautiful. No, I have the most beautiful blood work numbers, which I'm grateful for. And that's great. But with this extra weight, I don't feel how I should based on how healthy I actually am,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so I kind of wrote this out, and then now I'm working on it. What am I actually committed to doing? Is it, 30 minutes a day of cardio? Is it, the weight training, putting it all together. And then now what I have to do now, that's an affirmation, and I see my bigger goal and what I'm going to feel like and look like. And then in the visualization step that we just talked about, now I need to visualize myself, doing these activities, getting up in the morning to go to the gym, to do the work that I know I want to do to achieve, the end result that I want, and imagining myself doing that and doing the work, enjoying it, like with my laser focus, with a smile on my face, imagining myself doing these things happily, and I've done it before, and I know I can, and so it's bridging the gap and jumping off the bridge, so to speak, to get it done. So anyway, I shared. Now, who else is going to share?
Well, actually, so this is kind of timely, but yesterday, I follow Grant Cardone on YouTube a lot, and he's got one of the shows by his sidekick Jared does Young Hustlers.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. Like every once a month, I'll just take like basically what I call a Grant day, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna take, this is my day off. I'm just gonna do some Grant stuff and kind of get my shit together. And he had a really interesting thing. It was about it was one of like five things you need to do to succeed, and he was talking about this goal stuff. And he was like, I was visualizing, like, okay, I want to do, like I want this kind of house, I want this kind of car, my wife wants this, and just listing everything out that he wants, picturing the lifestyle. Okay, well, how much? And he's like, I went to the extent of, like, I literally went to the neighborhood where I want to live, looked at the house, and he's like, I just want to rent it, I don't want to own it. And he's like, so he just listed everything down. He had it on his phone, and he's like, most people stop there. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's so easy and so fun. Oh, I want this, I want this, I want that. Awesome. How are you going to get that? So he said, so this is what I want. This is what it's going to cost me in order to maintain a comfortable debt to income ratio. This is what I need to make. But then he's like, I took it a step even further, and he's like, because he worked for Grant, and he's like, so this is what the company needs to do to give me that. And he's like, my real estate investment, he's like, that's just fund money, that's his building stuff. This is income producing money. He's like, this is actual like wage and salary stuff. So he said, like, Cardone Enterprises needs to do this much in profit in order to pay me this, to have this lifestyle. And then he's like, I broke it down by department, the sales training stuff. It's just like, holy, and he's like, people don't do this. They slap goals down on a piece of paper and, okay, cool, that's what I'm going to do. But they don't, he's like, you need to like drill down and actually get to the nitty gritty of what is this actually going to take? He's like, if you have even short, hey, I want to make 10 more, add 10 clients per month, like, get detailed and drill it down, because then it's actually realistic. And I was like, watching it yesterday, I'm like, wow, like, that's so interesting,
So yeah, it's kind of like, beginning with the end in mind,
right.
Kind of like start, kind of go work backwards. Like, this is where I want to get. So how, plan it out. So, but this step with visual, that's part of visualization, is knowing what it is.
Mm-hmm.
but this is the more metaphysical part where you're taking that, you know, and then feeling yourself, seeing yourself doing it, doing the activities, you know, smelling the gym, you know, the sweat, feeling the, you know, the exhilaration that you have, you know, when you're exercising or when you're done exercising, and how good it feels when you're, you know, things, you know, like that. So, and then that's the metaphysical part of this part, that to get into your psyche, know it on the outside or get it into your heart, right?
That makes sense. It makes sense. And that's, yeah, and just because I know how my brain works, like that's going to be definitely a struggle for me, because I'm more like, I don't do a lot of like, I guess like what I call it, like fantasy stuff. Like it has to be tangible. Like if it's not tangible, it's not a part of my life.
Okay, well then, so then this is the part where you try to do something different to get a different result.
yeah, and like I said, this is.
But remember, Adam and 10X, he you know, his goals were like, you know, way out there. Remember? I mean, he was, some of his, you know, stuff or whatever was, in my mind, was like not realistic. But then that's what he, you know, says you had to do. You have to visualize that.
Yeah, he's like, you know, go for the biggest.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know, but I think, like, Sylvia, I looked at your stuff, and if I can comment on one thing, as far as exercise goes, I think you should start out smaller, and then work in, because I think 6 days a week, 1 hour. I speak for myself. I struggle to get even 30 minutes in, and I actually do the Beachbody on demand, and you just find I mean, I do belong to a gym as well, but the Beachbody on demand, it's like, just move your coffee table aside and get to it. 30 minutes. And I like to do Sean T's workout. He's actually coming to Portland in August, and I have VIP tickets. I'm so excited. But just I move my coffee table aside, and 30 minutes of Sean T telling you, you're amazing, you can do this. I know you know, and just totally telling you over and over that, you know, it goes by so fast, 30 minutes, because I feel like an hour. I mean, I don't block out an hour in my day to do an exercise, because my day is slammed with so many other commitments and things I want to do that I have to squeeze in the 30. So I know you're really, really busy too. So I was thinking, if you could just get into a routine of just 30 minutes.
Right. I hear you.
Start small there, I guess.
Well,
I don't know.
the thing is, I mean, I hear you. My thing is, though, I'm such an all or nothing type girl. That's my problem. Yeah, right, Adam? Adam relates to me that way.
Yeah. Black and white. It's either 0% or 100%.
Mm-hmm. But you know, I have been a bodybuilder before. I mean, I have worked out 7 days a week, and you know, had the health fitness level, ran 5 miles a day. I was there, you know, and I, you know, it's with that, you know, I don't expect myself to be able to run 5 miles a day now, because I haven't done it in years. You know, so that's how but just to start something is, and you're on the right track. I mean, even if I just start walking, then eventually I'll run. You know, it's just, I get it. I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I just started the S.A.V.E.R.S first thing in the morning. And so what I do now for my exercise, just as soon as I start, I just put my earbuds in and I go out because I'm like you. I was a bodybuilder. I ran 6 miles a day, but 9 years ago, I broke my foot and I don't have a joint in my foot. It's something I can't do anymore. It's something I want to do. But now I just put my earbuds in and I go out and I walk before I come back and start. And I've actually been doing S.A.V.E.R.S for 1 week and I dropped 3 pounds this week. I've done nothing else but that exercise for 20 minutes. That's all I've done, 20-minute exercise. And I just walk my neighborhood and I come right back. But I do listen to a podcast while I'm doing it. So I don't think as much about me doing it as if I'm, because I did start out with dance because I was a dancer for 18 years. So I said, oh, I'll do dance. I'll be fine. But I found myself going, oh my gosh, is this video ever going to end? But whenever I put in the podcast of someone like, I like Barbara Corcoran. So I may listen to her podcast or, you know, I may listen to Ricky Cruz podcast, just someone that I know is going to capture my attention. And before you know it, my 20 minutes is up. And it really has helped a lot.
It's great. I love that. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I will say one thing about visualization. I used to have a fear of flying. And through my study of books like this and, you know, law of attraction, mind work, I don't have that fear anymore. And part of it is with visualization. So what I do is, and I have to be conscious about it because sometimes I'll start to get nervous and I'm like, oh no, that's not what I'm going to be doing. So what I do is I imagine myself, you know, at my destination, like all the people, like when I come into EXP events, I imagine the people I'm going to see and the fun I'm going to have and, you know, being a part of it. I just imagine myself there, you know, or with my, you know, if I'm seeing a family member or whatever, I just imagine myself arriving to the airport safely and, you know, doing all the things and being at their house or whatever the case may be, you know, and then I imagine too, like just how, you know, the pilot's doing just such a great job. And I imagine like how the mechanics, like they did all the things they were supposed to do, you know, and I imagine, and it just totally cools me out and I don't think about it and I'm fine. But I wish I would have put that into practice a long time ago because I spent like several years being really afraid to fly and they held me back from some things. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that because it relates to practical things like we're talking about. Does anybody else want to talk about a specific affirmation that they've created since we've been talking about this, or that they've, you know, thought about since we've been talking about this, and then how using visualization can help you achieve that alignment, or achieve that affirmation or be in alignment with that affirmation? Does anybody else want to share something with their business or their health or anything? Maybe.
Next week is going to be exercise.
Oh yeah. Okay, good. We can talk all about exercise then.
Yeah. It's the E.
Well, I need the visualization. I know to be able to do it. You know, I have to jump in. I do have my exercise clothes on. I got that far today, Julie. So far, I got my exercise.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says EXP on it.
Hey, I have that. I brought it here to Idaho. Yeah. Mom, maybe I'll put mine on today and exercise. Okay. I'll take a picture and send it to you.
So I lived in Idaho for 10 years, but I lived in the southwest.
Like Boise?
Yeah. So Coeur d'Alene's like super green and very Washington-esque, isn't it?
It is. It's beautiful. Yes.
What's the weather like there right now?
Yeah, was supposed to be 82 today.
Ooh, nice.
We brought our boat, so we've been boating on the lake, and our friends live on the lake. So we went to this huge party on the 3rd. That was their big fireworks party. There was probably over 250 people there. It was crazy.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, well, okay. So, I mean, this was a fast one. This is good. Fine. We got what we needed from it, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to go into the E because that would be mixing them, and I thought we would.
I like it. I like separating it.
Yeah.
I think it helps get more of it.
One thing at a time. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, great. It's 9:41. We'll end. And you guys have a great rest of your day and weekend. And we will see you next Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks. Nice to see you, Adam.
Nice to see you, Adam.
Thanks, you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.